and welcome back. Thank you for joining me for the third and final video of this series. And if you haven't seen the other two videos, I really highly recommend that you listen to them first and really start to practice some of the ideas that I spoke about in that. Otherwise, this video probably isn't going to make much sense. So the links are below if you can't find them somewhere else. Now, today we're going to talk about sound quality again, but we're going to look at the larynx position and whether it's being manipulated or not when we speak. Now, again, a lot of this is very, very habitual. A lot of this might be to do with your accent and things like that, but it could be limiting you in your speaking voice. So, do you find yourself pushing your voice down when you talk? So almost like it kind of has a bit of a sort of, almost like a sort of hollow kind of sound, and you'll feel actually if you put your hand on your larynx is just being pushed down. Or do you feel like the sound, you've got a very nasally sound when you speak? So it's kind of up there, and you'll feel your larynx kind of shoot up. So I kind of think about it a little bit like an elevator kind of going up or down. So if you're not sure, actually just put your fingers on your larynx, on your voice box, and just sort of feel where is it moving quite rapidly. Now, again, if you're not sure, and because it's so natural in the way you speak, I would recommend that you record yourself again. Record yourself just talking very naturally without worrying about any of these ideas, and just see if you can hear anything in your voice. A lot of people come to me and say, and they're very aware they've got a very nasally tone in their voice. And I think sometimes that's to do with an accent. So you might already be aware that you've got that nasally quality in your voice, which you may not even like already. So these exercises are going to help you. Now, if you feel like your voice is being pushed down a little bit when you speak, it's going to be very hard to project from that place. If you're pushing your voice up and it's a little bit nasally, it's probably going to get quite tight. And again, it's going to be very hard to project from there too. One little exercise you can try, if you push your voice down, again, finding your optimal pitch, which is really, really important. So find that and then really articulate the word ma'am. Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. M-A-M, if we were to spell it. Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. Now, the idea is you want this as natural and speech-like as possible. So really just pronounce the word. Really just pronounce the M, the A, and the M. Ma'am, 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 and keep everything as relaxed as you possibly can. So you're literally just articulating that word. If you felt the opposite, if you felt like your voice was being kind of pushed up and a little bit nasally, again, go back to that and then try articulating the word buh. So like bus, buh. But we want to kind of, again, we want to really drop the jaw when we say this. We want to get as much depth into that sound as we can. So ba 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 ba. So everything is really relaxed through here. Ba ba ba, and really speak that word fully and deeply. Ba 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 ba. So the idea with all of this is that you then practice, and you'd get a book or something that you might have to read, and you just start practicing some of these exercises and start to notice if your voice is feeling freer. Again, always find that optimal pitch first and try some of these exercises from that place. Because if you try these exercises from your low voice, it's probably not really going to help you that much. So we need to kind of get the voice up to its optimal position first before we then try and get the vocal cords in there kind of more free and effortless place, and the larynx more in a sort of relaxed space too. So I'm hoping that these 3 videos have given you a little bit of an insight into the speaking voice, and actually hopefully you're now starting to see that just talking louder or breathing more isn't really going to help you if the voice isn't functioning from its optimal place first. These things do need quite a lot of practice, particularly, if you've been speaking your whole life in a particular way, it's going to be very difficult to suddenly change this. And so I would recommend just doing a few minutes each day, reading something, recording yourself, and just seeing if you start to notice a difference. Now, as I mentioned before, sometimes it can be very hard to hear these things in your own voice. And even when you record yourself, it could be very difficult to hear this. So I work with speakers, and I can work with people on developing this in their voice, particularly if you feel like your voice is tricky and you just can't hear it. And this is just so normal to me. I can't hear any of this stuff in my voice. I can't feel anything. This is just the way it is. So I work with people over 5 or 10 weeks, and depending on the time that you have and if you've got a particular deadline to meet, and I work with people to develop their speaking voice. And these are really lifetime skills. Once you kind of get this and once you feel it in your own voice, you can then take it away and work with it in the future. So if you'd like to find out more, please click the link below, and I'm happy to have a chat with you.